Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another GGDA Indie Game Showcase with Tygarlily. We always love doing these. It's great to have the game devs along. It's a great opportunity for us to let you have great insights into both game dev and great games that are coming out. Another wonderful game coming out of Georgia in the black. So, remember that we'll be having GGDA meetings coming up September 14th. We have the opportunity for you to sign up to be a Siege speaker. Siege will be November 5th to 6th. Go to the ggda.org website to see this and many other opportunities. Yes, Tygarlily's been a speaker. We'll get Jack and Dave out there eventually, but I'm going to let them all introduce themselves. So let's turn it over to Tygarlily.
We're starting with me? Whew. Let me get stretched. Okay. Hey everybody, I'm Tygarlily, and I love esports and creativity, especially game development. And one of my favorite games has been Elite Dangerous. So when they said In the Black was a space combat game, I'm like, let's do this. I'm so down. I'm a content creator that's based in Atlanta, and I just love working closely with developers because as an artist myself, it's just very interesting to me seeing the passions and the process that goes into building these amazing games. Should I throw it over to the next one?
I'll take
Jack,
the catch.
I'll take
the catch. I got it.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you.
I am Jack Mamais. I'm a very now long-term game developer, it seems like, every year that passes by. I started at Activision where I kind of specialize in giant robot simulators like MechWarrior 2. I did a lot of producing and directing on those titles. I also did a sim over there called Heavy Gear 2 that was another kind of anime-based robot game. Love anime. I love anime.
That's awesome. We do too.
After that, I worked in my own company and I did a Spyro game for console and found out that I'm not very good at making Spyro games, so I needed to go back to hardcore. So as a result, after that, I joined Crytek and I was lead designer of Far Cry and lead designer of Crysis. And so I got back into hardcore, and I was happy about it. After that, I started teaching, and I've been doing as a professor of game design at the Savannah College of Art and Design, which is our Georgia connection. And in my spare time, I have a hobby of making the most hardest core game I've ever made in the black. So that's what I'm doing. That's where we are. And I'll throw it over to Dave.
Yes. Next.
Yes, thank you. Dave Wessman. I started out in the industry at LucasArts as a tester, and quickly learned that the guy that was making the flight combat games that I really wanted to work on was an independent contractor named Larry Holland, and I made it my mission in life to convince him to hire me, and I did. And the next game was X-Wing. And so I worked on the entire X-Wing series as a mission designer and story designer. Left the studio to go to Stormfront, where I worked on my first console title, Bloodwake, a boat combat game, which I think I can say is still the best boat combat game ever made.
Like Subwar 2050.
Am I going to say this right? Someone in chat asked if you know Peter T.
Link?
It looks Peter Sackle.
Peter Sackle doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, that's a very specific last name. It doesn't sound like it, Misty.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
After Bloodwake, I think... Was that when I met you, Jack? I think that was.
Yeah, I think you were working on it at that time. I just was a big fan of yours because of X-Wing. It was the game that made me buy a PC. I bought a 386, 4666 to play X-Wing and it took all the money I had in the world to buy it, but it was totally worth it.
It's totally worth it. Yeah, Jack and I met at a studio that didn't end well, but we stayed friends and stayed in touch. I worked on the first Saints Row as the senior lead designer. Went to Starbreeze in Sweden for a while and worked on the first Riddick game.
It's amazing. You both have colorful backgrounds.
We both love games, and we like hardcore games that are primarily driven by the intrinsic reward of player skill.
We've been fighting the publisher battle our entire life. So,
yeah.
Publishers, Publishers who like mass market games don't like Dave and me because we are making the game be the most elegant game it can be, right, of that genre. And a lot of times that's not necessarily the same goal as somebody that's making a game just to make money, right?
They want a mass market, and we would prefer the hardcore because we know that they're the opinion leaders that will attract the mass market.
But that's amazing because, it not only as a developer creating the game, but as a player, there's like some line of respect that you get knowing, like if I came to you and I told you I got the best ship in the game, you'd probably be like, ooh, you're awesome. You'd probably give a little respect to that.
Absolutely. And I just, one other aspect I want to throw out there because it speaks to the vision of the game. And initially it was, let's just recapture that awesome feeling of those classic cockpit shooters. But there were a lot of people that had the same idea about the same time. And back in the X-Wing days, it was, it was always in the back of my mind, the fact that, okay, Star Wars is great, but it's World War II in space, and that's kind of nonsense. So what would this look like if it was real? And so for over 20 years, I've been thinking about this. And so the chance to finally make that vision a reality, that's what this game is. This is a huge passion project.
Yeah, well, so far, when I was testing the other day with Jack, I feel like it's come a long way. How long have you been working on In the Black?
Woo!
8 years.
8 years?
Yeah, it went through 3 engines, believe it or not. So when we first started, we were prototyping in Unreal 3 based on a lot of the guys who worked on our team when we started this project worked at a company called Two Dawn, and they had a game called Ravage. It was a vehicular game in Unreal 3, and we converted that to our spaceship sim because we had to do a proof of concept whether or not a real space game would even be fun, because we didn't know, truthfully, because most of the other space games out there are, well, we're still not sure, but we think it's fun. But most of the other games out there, mostly because of the way George Lucas directed Star Wars by cutting together the raid on the bridge, the bridge raiders or whatever, World War II films. That's what he got the feel of his fighters for. And while they're exciting, they have nothing to do with the way physics work in space. In fact, it would be counterintuitive to fly like that in space. And for me, when I just got into it 8 years ago in Unreal 3, it was just, I wanted to be realistic in the sense that it had Newtonian physics and we had retro rockets, and I was like, that was what I thought real game was. And then we brought Dave on a little while later, and he's like, no, this is what real space physics is. And it got us into it really showed us a way to make a game that was completely different than every other space game out there, but yet completely true to the concept of the genre. So it's been a fun ride, but certainly, like the Zeppelin song, there's 2 roads you can go by. This was the hard road. We didn't go the easy road.
Yeah.
And, we were on Unreal 3. Then we moved to a company came and asked us to kind of use their engine, and they provided some engineers, which we needed to prototype on their engine. So we moved to that for a while, and we actually did our first Kickstarter with that engine. And the Kickstarter really didn't work. We missed it by 20,000, 250. We missed it like 20,000. So, it's kind of disappointing. But Dave and I are old warriors with chipped swords. So we said, let's do it again.
Yeah.
And while we're like at a, 0.0, let's get off this engine, which isn't really working for us, and move to Unreal 4. And that was about 4.5, 5 years ago. So that's how old this version of the game is about 5 years old to create.
Well, and for context, Jack and I both have day jobs. We're full-time university professors.
Yeah.
So this is something we do in our spare time. The guys doing the heavy lifting, Noah Brewster and Remco Vandenberg in particular, those guys are the ones that are doing full-time effort, and they've been helped out over the years by quite a large number of people that have come through and moved on to paid jobs in the industry. something that we hope to offer them in the future.
Right,
But
they still have that relationship with you too, so.
Well, they're very much they're part of, the way we consider our team is like a pirate ship where we just parley to get stuff done. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of the de facto captain, so I actually take us into battle. But, everybody has their specialty that and everybody has their say. So there's, and in a way that has lengthened the time it's made us to do the game. But I feel it has also made people who have worked on the game, the ones that have stayed with us, are absolutely the same as we are, where we're fanatical about the game. And it's something that's, we're doing our dream game. And that's something you don't get to do, at least in the AAA game industry.
Right.
Even though I was a director of a project on many times, which means I was supposed to be, the last one to say where it would be. It's really not me that's making the calls. It's marketing and it's finance, and it's not really, the creative is the last ones to make a decision, right? And
yeah,
this way, good or bad, and I think it's good. We made the decisions, and the team made the decisions, and and they just snuck a few things in today that I didn't know about, so they're still making decisions.
Oh, and my. You'll run into that a lot, like, or, marketing's like, we need this out right now because our investors were expecting it at this time. So then you have like a half put together game. You'll end up like Cyberpunk, if everybody remembers that at the beginning of the year, where we ended up with the game, but it was broken because they just wanted to push it to make it to its date. But it's just, I'd rather have waited, honestly. And that's what I usually say with most games in development. Just like, I would rather wait and see what you want to show us and that we can play. I mean, the investors, they help a little bit, because otherwise you could be working on this for 30 years,
Well, it's
no one will play
just
it.
the investors, though. It's this vast machinery. And when you consider that for those big AAA titles, their marketing budget can match or exceed the development budget, they're on a stricter timetable. It's much harder for them to shift their schedule around as it is. And so, the developers have to toe that line.
I'm thankful to them, because they're putting out Magic. Every 2 months there's some new piece of amazing Magic. The new Far Cry's coming out. I can't wait for that to come out. The new Battlefield's coming out. The new, it's such an exciting time to be a gamer, truthfully, because I believe there's so many great indie games that are so rich and passionate, and they may not be as beautifully polished as a $150 million game, but you have that whole universe of games to play. Then you have, you can go spend $60 and buy the Avengers Infinity War of games and enjoy that. So we're in a good place, us gamers.
Yeah, especially, I actually had this conversation earlier today where they asked me, when I was growing up, did I have the same opportunities, or did I like talking about games in the past? I'm like, there's nothing like we have these days. Being a part of the gaming industry, this is the time to be a part of it. It's our frontier, and we're accepted as game developers, as marketers, as cosplayers, which is mine. I don't get frowned on anymore if I say I make cosplays specifically for a video game. They're like, that's awesome, because of the amount of marketing that you see at all these events. So to me, this is the best time to be a part of everything, especially in the gaming industry and development.
Is Dragon Con happening this year?
ATL
Are they doing it in
is.
person?
They do. You have to have your passport, though, to get in. You have to have
Your
proof
vaccine
of
passport.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I've been up there a couple times, and it's pretty darn cool when they do that parade. The cosplay parade. That's one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
The one outside, because there's definitely ones through the hotel. Yeah, but the one outside, that one's great.
Big one.
So
where
hot.
they get
I don't know.
every Star Wars person, right, and every Wheel of Time person, and every Lord of the Rings person, every anime person. It's like, wow, that's so cool.
Right. It's Dragon Con just brings out everybody. You have the talent, like filmmakers or prop makers that'll come out, and then you have just at home hobbyists. Like the 401st Legion from Star Wars. You can't tell the difference between the two. They both look amazing.
I think they used the 501st Legion when they were shooting The Mandalorian, actually, because they didn't have enough Stormtrooper costumes, so they brought some guys over. Those were probably more realistic costumes than they use in the movies.
Probably better. They functioned well too, but that's what happens, Well, cosplayers can, and the same with games. You could start off with a hobby or a project, and then learn so many other skill sets, and eventually, you've got a game in front of you. Or for me, it's build a costume and you're ready to go out and stuff. And Well, what do you say? Do you wanna try jumping in the game now?
Absolutely. I will put up a level.
Okay. So we
And-
have already gone through training. If you guys see this is my ship. It's a Shrike, and we went through customization for about a good half hour. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Look at that.
It's so shiny and chrome, and I had to go with the purple. Yeah, Misty likes it. The purple stripes.
It's very, very shiny. All right, I'm going to put up a map called Conjunction, and this is a conquest map. So if you've ever played Conquest, you have to take your ship near a point to capture it, and you can respawn as much as you want to. So you can respawn. You can use your ship. You can use rental ships too. So, and those will be more powerful, and those will be great examples of what you should sort of be aspiring to.
Alright.
Good. And it looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 6 players. That's good.
Nice.
Snipers are all right. He's going to be one of our hardcore players. He might just wipe the floor with everybody, so we'll have to watch out for him.
Well, last time I went up against Wes and you, and it was unfair. I was brand new to this.
Hey, we train you in flame. That's the best way. The greatest warriors are trained through the hottest flames.
Right.
I think that's a saying, or should be a saying. Okay, we got Commander Mark too. Good. So we've got
Nice.
a full house. Let's hope it doesn't crash, folks. It is a beta.
No worries, and it's very realistic. So, stream, if I'm focusing on the gameplay, that's because I don't want to crash. Sniper says he's here to kill divs.
Oh, we also have Nathan with us. Who? Nathan, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah,
He's he's like our community manager.
I was trying to mute myself, so I didn't know if I was muted or not. Hi everybody. Hope
Hello,
everyone's having
how are
a good
you?
night tonight.
Welcome, Nathan.
It's nice to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, I have nothing prepared. Y'all are very impressive.
He has done a ton of videos for us. It tells people YouTube videos. It tells people how to fly the ship. So he's also very, very good. So let's see.
I hope you're on my team.
I've got
Kind.
Wessman and where are you? Are you in there yet, Tygarlily? Did you launch? Oh, you need a launch. Tygarlily needs a launch. Now you're in.
All right.
Yeah, now you're in.
Oh, good.
With
Lord.
Wes.
Tygarlily is on Wessman and Nathan's side, so it's you two guys against me.
Fantastic.
Oh dear, I'm just gonna hide on the edge.
That's the spirit.
I want you to know I have a railgun and it's dangerous.
That's fantastic. I have a Pegasus on my ass.
Language.
Oh, sorry. Well,
I'm coming
that is
for you.
the real language.
Well, no real
That's
language.
the realistic language. I'm
Yes,
dead
it
now.
is.
Order in the swear jar.
Aw, I am sad. That's going to be expensive.
Target cleared.
Don't want to make everyone sick. Sorry about that. I'm a very big what's the word for it when you use Q and E when you just spiral around?
Roll.
That's your roll.
You like to
Yeah,
roll.
I roll a lot.
The roll is great.
Target locked.
Do you shut off your translational dampener?
Attack point Charlie.
Forces captured.
I haven't taught her that yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know how to fly and not crash. Yeah.
That's really good.
That is the core skill set.
Okay, we did capture Bravo.
Is that a laser?
Disabled.
Unacceptable.
Component destroyed.
Okay, so let's see. What is Tygarlily? I'm looking on her screen. She's got like your starter Shrike. So the starter Shrike, they give you for playing your first mission, and so you start with a Shrike, start with a little bit of money, and it has essentially 2 weapons on it. It has a railgun, which we've heard a lot about railguns because they've been developing them for Navy ships right now. And essentially, a railgun is a series of electromagnetics that hyper-accelerate a steel flechette. So it's kind of like a trebuchet, like a futuristic trebuchet, because it just goes out and it is purely kinetic damage. So it will do huge amounts of damage to whatever it hits. Like if it hits a component, like your reactor, or it hits your your rocket engine, it's probably gonna knock it out. Even though the Shrike railgun is not the most powerful one. It's a weaker version, so it might take a few hits, but in some cases it can be a one-shot weapon. The other weapons she has on there are called the VDB 15s, and I think it's VDB 15s. Or let's see, what has she got on there? Oh, she's actually got one of the rental ships, so she's stocked out. So
I'm scared. I don't want to
has,
lose my purple.
You're doing good.
I have no
You won't
weapons.
lose it. She actually
I'm
has
programming speed.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
hi,
she,
Sniper.
if you look on her screen, she's got 3 weapon groups, 1, 2, and 3, and you customize all that in the game. In the where you customize your ship, and you can set your weapon group. So her secondary weapons, one of them has been destroyed. Those are gimbal mounted, which means they rotate really quickly. It's a GSU 114. Those are Gatling gun turrets. So those are sort of like a real world equivalent would be the Avenger cannon on an A10, if you know what those are. And last but not least, she died, so now she's picking another ship.
Yeah, let's try Escort's probably bigger, right? Ooh,
Escort, if you look on it, it has what does it have on it? I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's got laser guns on it. It's got laser gimbals, so that means it's really good for heating up other people's ships.
Forces captured Bravo.
Because in the future, ships get really hot, and if you can push it over the edge with just a little more heat with their lasers, you might cause the ship itself to vaporize or components to vaporize. And we also have missile launchers, the Odin missile launchers. Those are guided missiles. They are locked by image recognition, and they have enough thrust to go pretty much like 20 Gs for about 10 seconds, and then they burn out. And they'll try to course correct themselves a little bit, but they're not all seeing and all doing weapons.
Yeah.
So if you look at the score, it looks like the blue team is winning.
You are targeted.
That's you guys are winning.
I've just shot a few people. That's about it.
Yeah, you can see your score if you hit tab. You can see what your score is, and you can see who's alive and dead. And
Hey, I blew somebody up.
nice job.
I'm proud.
Yeah, you can see one of our players, Snipers are 5 kills. He's a murderer, so watch out for him. On my side.
Sniper took me out just now.
Yeah, Sniper's a murderer. I'm glad he's on my side. I wish he was on your side.
I thought you said you were
Tygarlily.
taking out devs. You didn't say the hostess.
We put it out for anybody.
I
I'm taking it easy on you. I'm not hunting you. I'm hunting everybody. I'm hunting Wessman.
I'm very far from this fight. Let's go. Yeah, the one thing earlier when I got close to that landmass, I was absorbed into it. Basically, I felt like I was in a gravity well, and it just pulled me straight for it, and I blew up.
I wish we had something like that working, but unfortunately, the size of these rocks, even though they're huge, they would not really have a gravitational pull on your ship.
I just got too close to it then.
You probably just got a little too close to it.
Yes.
It is something we did some experiments with, so it'll be a factor in the future.
I think Enceladus has a little gravity on it.
Yeah.
You are targeted.
But it would be pretty subtle. I don't know if you would even feel it for something that big. It's probably not even half kilometer.
Collision are targeted. You are targeted.
Westman, you want to talk about the economics? While you're fighting?
Yeah, sure. Let's just get myself killed. Oh, that was... Who did Flame Bullet? Just took out my ally. So, let me I'll just watch myself die.
I know it's the fun part is trying to talk and not crash.
So, well, in the context of player progression and ship and weapon progression, we have a huge, ambitious slate of ships that we want to get to. Right now, all we have is a handful of ships, but each represents sort of a weight class. So the Shrike is that lowest tier first ship, fairly weak, but it can be upgraded and it can be made into quite a potent weapon system, and it can be paired well with other ships. Next up is the Reyes. It's a medium class fighter. It's the newest ship that's been added to the game that players can fly, and it has the the best adherence to scientific principles of spacecraft engineering. And I say that because the Shrike is sort of a legacy design, and so is the Hyperion. And so in universe terms, we describe them as basically century-old designs that have remained in service because they're really good designs.
Yeah.
And they're cheap now.
So it'd be like if a bunch of mercenaries were in Afghanistan. They just were hired in Afghanistan, and they were flying F-4 Phantoms. It'd be like that. They can still blow things up and they can still kill things, but if you bring in an F-22 or something, they're not going to last very long.
Yeah. The Hyperion's the big boy of the bunch, the heavy fighter. It's massively armored, and its design philosophy is kind of almost like this could be a World War II era torpedo boat. It's intended to take out much bigger targets. But in our universe, there's a naval or a space weapons treaty that prohibits the construction of large capital ships. But that's getting ahead of us into the narrative side of things. The last flyable ship currently is the Pegasus assault transport. And this is the one that we hope eventually will be the best multi-crew craft. The Hyperion, we plan on doing a 2-seater variant. The Pegasus, we're planning on having up to 4 people being able to fly the same ship, or in the same ship, with different roles, of course. Each ship has a number of hardpoints of various sizes, and each size hardpoint has various weapons that it can be equipped with. Some ships have spinal mounts. We also have variations on engines and thrusters, planning to add more components to that so that players have a lot more freedom and flexibility in customization. Jack likened it once to, was it League of Legends, Jack?
Yeah.
Where you're constantly making minor adjustments to some parameter of your character and weapons, and so we're looking at that in a similar fashion for the ships.
I mean, it's just like in consideration of you need to play as part of a team too, because we're definitely built to be a team-based game. So we want people to really start digging into, okay, if I use this ship with this weapon, and I upgrade this engine a little bit, or I make this one heat resistant, I use this as a missile shield. There's just so many different roles you can play the way you customize your ship. The name of the game is In the Black. So if everybody doesn't know, of course, In the Black is in space, but In the Black is also an accounting term that means you're profitable. So as long as you're profitable in these battles, you can continue to upgrade your ship. But the better things are, the more they cost. Uh-oh, we have a crash.
Oh no.
I did. I got crashed. Actually, my computer's running very hot right now. It's at 63. I might have to cap it so it doesn't go higher.
Okay.
Woo!
I can share my screen for the rest of the battle if we want to see it.
And so players earn.
Stream and play.
Okay, I've got my battle. I've got my screen up.
Somebody just took out my railgun. Oh, no, that's just not nice.
Rather rude.
This game does tax your computers because there's so
Hello, chamber.
much physics running. So
but, you earn money by participating in these matches and doing training, and there's single player missions as well. So there's a number of ways to make money. And during a mission, you mostly lose money by requiring a lot of repairs or expending a lot of missiles. Missiles can be very deadly, but we don't want players to over rely on them, so we make them expensive.
So did you touch on it earlier? Maybe I missed it, or if you haven't, here's the question. How is just running these missions the best way to gain income or, get money in order to do all that? Okay.
You can make huge money when you know what you're doing in the missions. We've got players that'll make 50 or 60,000 credits when they finish a mission. Most of the time you make between 5 and 10,000 if you do pretty good, but you can tell if somebody comes in and they've got a really good ship and they're really a good pilot, they can walk away with enough to buy the next higher level ship. So it's all pilot skill. We are one thing we've seen in when we're doing the play tests on Steam now, we found out that it's like there's people that will play it so hard they will, we had planned for the play test to last 2 or 3 weeks, but people had grinded so hard they had the maximum ships like in a couple of days, and we're like, oh my gosh, they must have played it like 70 hours or something, right? It's amazing. And while we love that, right now some people that if they just walk in the game and they encounter some of these people, like we see, like I'm getting against Wessman, he's an easy kill. If we you guys can watch me waste him on live TV.
Let's go.
I got him. There we go.
You got me.
Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a nice little show. Lead designer of X-Wing beaten by a FPS shooter. Thank you, designer. We've got features that we're gonna put in there for our next version. That's gonna be rank. So as you play, you get certification points on weapons, and the better the weapons you get, the better the rank you get, and eventually you can play higher tier ships. Matchmaking will put you against people that are about your same skill and things like that. So but that's why we did the play test, because we want to see exactly, we had things like when the play test first came out that we were scared people wouldn't be able to see all the ships. So we did things like we let them play the opening tutorial missions as much as they want to, and they would get paid 10,000 for doing it. So if somebody played one like 50 times or something, and then
that's enough.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, well, we're gonna have to make it so the second time you play, you don't make money, and that's kind of a lot of stuff that we've learned in the playtest and stuff like that. So we really are, we really love all our players that are in there going and really tearing it apart for us.
Yeah. When we spoke last week, you touched a little bit on the lore of this game. I don't think we touched on that today at all yet.
Okay, I will let Dave talk about that because he was definitely instrumental in creating a lot of it.
Okay.
The basic premise is it's 200 years from now. Mega corporations pretty much dominate everything. Nation states still exist, but they're kind of the equivalent of royal families nowadays. They're good as a tourist attraction, but they're not really the seat of power. And players are mercenaries, basically. You're a private military contractor, and so you go to work for these companies that offer their services out to the big corporations who fight most of their battles in courtrooms and marketing campaigns, but occasionally some violence is required, and that's where you come in. Did I get it? No, I didn't.
We're about to win. You guys watching? We're about to win! Yay!
Initially, we've told more of the story about one particular corporation, North Star. It's kind of like a Boeing of the future, and their main rival is actually not another corporation. It's a radical anti-corporate.
I would have had you, Sniper. If I didn't disconnect, I would have gotten you. It.
See my score? 24,000 credits. That's enough to buy the next gun. So I'm super, and I got an assist streak. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, it's like after each round you end up with a gun. Sorry to interrupt you there, Wes, but
no worries.
Sniper said he's leaving.
Worst performer on my team. I kind of suck today.
Do you want to try again, Tiger?
Yeah, let me reconnect. I don't know why it says it's running.
Because what we'll do, we'll play the one we played the other day, the mining tunnels, because I think that'll show a completely different environment.
That's what I'm good at.
Okay, that's This I threw one at you because I wanted us to have at least one good space battle.
And we hope that MB Schwartz from YouTube will join you. He's been saying Jack is the best, but he's going to take him out. Apparently, he has something to do with audio on the game.
Michael is our audio lead, and a lot of the sound that you hear in the game and the music and stuff like that is all Michael. Michael and I worked together at Activision many years ago. He was like the audio lead at Activision.
Mm-hmm.
And another good thing, we as a company, we very much, one of our creeds was we wanted to pair veteran developers with new people, because there's so many new people out there that are working on games, and we want to give them a chance. And we it's hard to get your first step foot in the world, so we welcome them in there. We sort of train them and we sort of teach them, and and they also help us out and create stuff. But we've got a lot of really good vets too, like Michael Schwartz, who he was Activision's audio director for the longest time and worked on just countless Activision titles, and he's come in and really helped us shore our audio up, and we're really happy with the work that all of our teams.
The audio in this game is phenomenal. Like, I'm audio queue if I load into a game, like, especially because I do a lot of indie games, and I'm always, and then I won't openly say this to someone, I just won't compliment them on their audio, but you'll get into a game and the audio just doesn't fit, or there's just something not right about it. Like, I would say that just me loading into In the Black already, it's very well put together.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we've got another audio person, Mitch Gettleman, who is a colleague of mine. And he actually is a longtime Hollywood sound designer, and he's been stepping in and helping to consult and lead on some of the projects. And just together, they've just really done a really good job. And we're like our audio. I want it to be 100, and I would say it's probably like an 80 now. So I want to still take it another 20 points higher to where it's the best ever in any space sim game, and we will get there. We will get there with the audio for sure.
Well, and Jack and I have both done audio in our pasts as well, so it's something that we don't just have an opinion on. It's an educated opinion. So we work really well with the sound designers and musicians, composers that we get.
That's always my favorite thing about development is someone helping you with the project and then them giving it back, sending you an audio, just like, what do you think of this? And then it's just like the creative flow goes. You're like, oh, that's great. You really matched what we were trying to feel in that scene, or, the intro music or something like that.
Well, I can show off a little bit
Jack
of customization.
Still won't let me put thrash metal in. Can you believe it?
I will not. Thrash metal is going to be dead in 200 years. So what I can do here while you're looking at your computer is kind of show our this is our Shrike here. So as you can see kind of a close up of it. It's pretty, you can see the seat here. It's a pretty small cockpit. So it's smaller even than a Falcon plane. So this is made to be super maneuverable. You can see it's got little thrusters all over it that enable. These are called RCS thrusters, and that's how you kind of move the ship around. But if you want to really move through space heavily, you've got to use this fueled engine, which uses propellant to just go super fast, relatively super fast, right? I mean, because our maps are about 80 kilometers across, and it will still take you, even moving at like 1,000 meters a second. It'll take you 3 or 4 minutes to leave the map. So they're just huge maps. So this ship, if you look down here, you can see your statistics. All of these things are what determine how it flies, like the mass, the thrust to weight. The gyro, how fast it'll turn, because essentially the way the ships turn is it's got a gyroscope in there. If you ever played with a gyroscope, when you move it, it kind of makes you turn back one area. That's how these ships turn. They're like big gyroscopes, and that's how they
Oh, that's cool.
point. That's your mouse
Reaping
pointing.
Storm in chat over here says the ship is cool. Blown to Orbit likes the ship as well.
And you can see I have the guns on here. So this guy has a long Taejun RGS prototype railguns. You can see when I click on it, that's covering a lot of the ship's mass right there. That's a big, essentially a sniper gun in space. And that's how it works. So,
Right.
but that takes a lot of skill to use. But when you're good at it, you are a destroyer
Extremely
of worlds.
effective.
Yeah.
I like range. Getting close to someone just means you have to focus on so much. So having a ranged weapon would be nice.
Yeah, this weapon is a gimbal. So you can see that when you look at this is on an aperture that allows the gun to turn quickly, and it can turn in all directions. And you can see these on the bottom of like Cobra gunships. They always have something called a chin gun. And gimbal weapons, while they are super effective, you can lock on and you can just tell it to auto fire and let it do its thing. They are also more vulnerable than like a fully integrated, spinal railgun mount, which is going to take you a lot more to kill and a lot more to burn through. I can go in here and I can. We've got this area is our liveries, and I haven't even. Yeah, here we go. Our liveries these are special skins that are made for like our Kickstarter backers or people that we've worked with on the team. Like this is, I think this. What is this one? This is the Alienware screen, right? You can see it's got the Alienware logo. And Alienware helped us a lot by, they provided equipment for us and they helped us get in some shows like Gamescom and stuff like that. So they're very much like part of the family. And
that's awesome. RGB's awesome.
This was like their Halloween skin that we made for Alienware because we launched one version out last year around Halloween. You can see the cockpit in there. Now I can also go through and I can customize my ship, and
the customization, you could be here forever. It's awesome.
We have like different schemas that Remco Vandenberg, our lead artist, came up with. That these are all different vibes that you can put on the ship if you want. Like this is great. Like for instance, gradient. And I can say, okay, I want to get gradient from a blue that's going to kind of like fade into, let's go to a black that I'm going to fade into, right? And I can even like, if I want to like throw patterns on it, and like you've seen, like you got your tiger stripe pattern, so I'll use something else. I'll use this like brick pattern.
It can only be one tiger.
Yeah, that'll give me a completely, I guess this is Frogger. I don't know what this is, but and you can also,
It's little skulls, man.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
It's hard to see that one. I need a different color on that probably or something. Let's change the colors. But you definitely you have a ton of control over how you want your ship to, your vibe that you want your ship to. And the gradient's really cool. You can see I've got some pretty intricate stuff going on here. I can even change the parts that are the metal on the ship that are like the core metal to different types of metal. That gives you a completely different look on like your internals and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you can start this off with already so much customization. Is there, how some games will have rewards for certain quests? Are you going to have any special skins, or you plan on anything like that?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's probably the main focus of our monetization plan is all about cosmetics and having just increasing the variety of things that players can do. Right now we're looking at the ship, but when you're in the pre-mission briefing room and you're all standing around the holotable or floating around the holotable, you notice that the pilots' visors have the animated, and we have a bunch of different designs for that, and hopefully we'll have many more. One thought we had was, if that's sort of like a holographic projection table, maybe you could just mount one on your ship and make your ship appear to be something entirely else.
I can hear the guys that actually have to do it screaming right now.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to fool any weapon systems, but it would look cool. Have your Shrike look like a dragon, or
right? That'd be cool. I'd do that. That was one thing I like about a lot of space games I played in the past is customization, even in the cockpit. Because if you can change your point of view and you can see what it's like in the driver's seat, having that to look at, a bobblehead on the dashboard. The simple things. They're really pleasing.
One of our founders of the company really wants bobbleheads on the dashboard, so I'm sure that's going to happen eventually. So they'll.
Because there's nothing like
in.
going into battle and then having your little bobblehead just hanging out with you.
Maybe we can team with Funko Pops and do something.
That'd be amazing.
Funko Pops bobbleheads. Do they have those?
I do not know.
They do. Yeah, I have
yeah.
one actually. It's Sylvanas Windrunner, and she's a bobblehead.
Do you guys want to try another battle?
Yes.
I would love you. I'm not sure the time, but let's just jump in, and if we need to stop, Andrew will tell me.
Okay, we'll go into a mining facility this time, so
Okay.
everybody jump in. Now, this one, as you can see at the table, I can control the hologram and move it around, and I can get a good look at where I'm fighting. And this is essentially in the middle of a hollowed out asteroid that they captured and they stabilized, and then they took big drills like where you build the tunnel with. Basically they can drill through rock, and they got out nickel or magnesium or whatever. I'm sure Dave will correct me, but probably nickel, because that's in most asteroids. So they can, and that they can use that to build a space station or something. But our corporations, after they do this, they definitely want to sell it, right? They want to sell it for space. So somebody's written it out as a storage depot. So it's almost like an Amazon distribution center of the future, where this is where they would bring, this is where a depot would be, where bigger ships would come through and they would pick up cargo. And we're flying. So this one you have to be way more careful.
Don't hit the walls. What was the button to remove your cockpit on the screen?
It's
Thank you.
Oh, Wessman, you and Tygarlily and Tobiah are playing me, Jazz73, and so it's everybody's humans. 4v4 humans, so this is gonna be ugly. You'll miss those beautiful days of the easy AI.
I heard your AR were pretty difficult, though.
Our AI is pretty difficult, but when some of these players, they make our AI look like babies.
Yeah,
and we love that. We love that because we want the hardcores to be going up against each other, super hardcore.
So you're planning on community or PvP events?
We are.
One of the things I discovered way back in the day researching what it means to be an ace pilot, I found that historically it's one pilot in 20 becomes an ace, and the others are basically targets that might.
An ace means you shoot down more than 10 enemies in combat? 5.
And when I reflected on the fact that in an NPC mission you're facing a couple dozen enemies, or some of them are allies, and the allies aren't very good and the enemies aren't that good, but you're an ace. So that was our justification for not trying to improve the AI any more than it already was. But with this game, the AI, there's so many aspects that need to be adjusted and tuned and balanced, and it's really easy to overshoot, and then we have to counterbalance. And that's what's been invaluable about these playtests, and the more people that get involved in the playtesting, the more
you guys just aced us. Good job. Oh, you killed all 4 of us.
Yeah.
Anything. I just cruised around. Thanks.
Tygarlily got an assist. Good job.
I did. I was helping in the tunnel. Whoever was in there, I think it was Slayer. He took on all of them at once.
Master.
I was just supporting.
I got one.
But I like it because this map in particular helps me understand flight control. There's so many things to bump into. It's almost playing like that board game, the Don't Wake the Doctor one, with like if you touch it with the wire, you just want to operation, right? Yeah. You want to stay away from the edges.
Well, if you're good in this, you'll be amazing in the deep space missions, because you'll have all this room to maneuver, and you'll actually want to fly in tighter areas because you like the cover and stuff you have in here.
Yeah,
which is really nice.
As I run into the wall. So
Oh,
I just
no.
committed Sudoku. I love math.
Now you can just hit spacebar and watch your teammates play. So you can cycle
Who's
through
this?
your
This is
teammates.
Flame. Let's see where. Oh, let's watch Wes. He's in his RGB. It's the
Wessman.
alien RGB skin.
There he is. Hi, Wessman. How you
Hello.
doing?
That's going to be a bad match. Yes.
Thank
Did I hear
you.
"Hey Westman" and then you just
Oh, that
blow
was
up?
Lumpy.
Yeah, Flumpy was in a Reyes, and that
Oh,
was
we got
fair.
Flame Bullet in his Poseidon, he's got
his
a Pegasus. Yeah, that's ugly.
That is. He's taking a lot of damage though.
Yeah, I'm nailing him with railguns.
Ooh! Oh wow, that was cool.
Did they just slam into each other?
Yeah.
There you go.
Pepper
No,
Dog
Slayer.
in a
Awesome.
strike,
You fired those missiles
flew
right
right
past
into
me.
Flame
Yeah,
Bullet.
that was classic.
and that was enough to put
Revenge.
Flame Bullet over the edge.
Yeah, that was awkward. I just went right into the wall. See what happens? I was doing an example, everybody. I was showing you what it looks like.
Is Schwartz in here? Michael Schwartz in here? Who's he? Oh, Pepper Dog. I think that's Michael. Right. That's okay. He's on my side, so I keep him alive. So I'm going after Wes. I'm going after Flame Bullet. That's who I'm going after.
Same. Oh, he's at a roost.
Yeah. That is Tobiah. He's one of our level designers. He actually worked on the conjunction map that we showed earlier, along with David Wessman and Remco and Noah. This map was made by Noah and Remco. It's based on a single-player mission we've got coming out called Cyber Strike.
Don't fly into walls.
It's bad.
This one's
Very
hard.
bad.
It's all about like positioning, right? Like you don't want to be caught with them behind you.
Oh, Flame Bullet got me! I'm sad.
I think. Oh, there is another ship flying around that you may have noticed, the Calibri, and that is not yet available for players. So that tells me that Slayer is AI.
Actually, it's going to be here's a scoop for you, Tygarlily, just for you. We're
Okay.
going to put the Calibri out before the playtest is over, so people will be able to try the new ship.
They'll love that. So how long is the playtest?
It's going to end next week at some point.
So anybody that's interested in this, they have a playtest or demo you can download off Steam. So what we're playing right now, you can play too.
Yep. Perfectly free. Free
You're like,
to
I could
all.
do way better than
At
you,
least I got
Tiger
an
Lily.
assist.
So the AI was winning.
Yes.
I was like protecting Slayer the whole time. I was just protecting a robot because it's better than me.
All
Well, it's
right.
one of the things that if you have good AI, then players can learn from bots.
We have
That's
really
not a
good
bad thing.
AI. Our AI it's just as fun to play a mission against AI that it is against people. But at higher level, it's definitely more fun to play against people for sure. Because when you're really high, you can swat the AI like flies. Especially if you play as a team, like me and Flumpy are doing. I'm a little escort for his ship, coming in low on
Precisely.
Flame
Ooh.
Bullet. That's a lot of torpedo. That's a lot of missiles.
Oh,
Both of us.
Tobiah. That hurts.
Wow.
Well, at least we died together.
Sorry, Mark. It's a limited time demo. It's a limited time play test. We'll be back.
Ready,
Yeah,
Ricky, get me.
Conjunction's good money. I'm answering some of the
Nice.
chat questions. Leaf wins.
Oh.
You won. That's it.
I blew one up. Woo!
You get
So
one and one.
exciting.
You
There
should
we
make some
go.
money. I hope you make some money.
Feels good.
Congratulations, you're a
but yeah.
mercenary starfighter.
Thank you.
Proven
Hey,
in
Jack.
battle.
Tygarlily
Proven in
cadet.
battle.
How'd you do?
I got 14,000 credits.
Nice.
Great, that's amazing.
Looks hard. It's not too hard. I mean, like once you understand navigating with the ship, because you know you can pivot and you use your jets to turn around at different angles. Like the A and D key is actually what I use a lot in those tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
Sniper says his best match ever was 60K in credits.
Oh wow, that's
Sweet.
amazing.
Yeah, is there another mode you want to try or show
You
off?
want to try another map? Okay, let's do. We're having fun, so why don't we do?
And I'm winning. It feels good.
Did we do Enceladus already during the
not
stream? We
done
did it
Enceladus,
before, but yeah, let's do that one.
Enceladus is a completely different vibe as well. This is a planet moon side. This is on the moon of Enceladus.
This is our first surface mission. Many more are planned. And each of the battle spaces that we create right now, it has one mode. It's either team deathmatch or conquest or assault. Is what we call.
Do you see it? Do you see it,
mutual
Tygarlily?
objectives.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
We were staring at my ship. On my way.
And the plan is to eventually implement all of the game modes in each battle space, so players will have that much more choice in how to play.
All right, full
they
5x5 mission. This is beyond our spec, so I'm hoping this works.
Yeah. The sniper says that this map makes him feel like an ant.
Yeah, unless you're flying real close to the ground, you can't tell your speed. So one trick is all the ships have like a velocity indicator. There's these little blue dots that are next to your ship, and they kind of show you how fast you're going. This one you want to fly you want to stay close to the ground because you can have some cover near the ground, and there'll be a lot of missiles flying. So kind of stay out of the way of the missiles for the first part. Most people will try to use their missiles early because missiles damage easily by almost any weapon. So people get a little gun shy on
use them or lose them.
But it's use them or lose them unless you can stay out of battle and save them for later in the battle, and then you'll be devastating. So there's your little trick of the day.
Yeah, it's good to have some members of your team go out in advance, launch a volley of missiles, hope a few of them get through. But it's also really smart to have at least one or two players hold back.
All right, we're on the same team this time, Tygarlily, so I'm going to provide you escort.
Okay. There's definitely bad people over there. There's a lot of red. I see that there.
Yeah,
That's my callouts.
You have missiles, so I think. Oh, do you? You're moving fast. Watch out! You're gonna hit the ground. Oh, that's some good flying. I thought you were gonna hit the ground. Well, I'm impressed.
What I'm trying to figure out is to slow down. I can't it's just going forward.
Watch your speed in top left of your HUD. You want to always keep it below 200.
Yeah, that R button just saved me. I was fly straight up.
That's pretty good flying there.
I'm only going like 50.
Sometimes that's good. Oh,
right.
Flame bullet.
All right, one's coming over the ridge here on the right. It's a Corvette. Woo! I think they found me.
Run. Turn on your CWIZ if you have it. Oh, I got a lot of people coming out. I think they're all after me.
There's only Pepper Dog and it only lets me see Pepper Dog and Palex.
It's only Palex and Pepper Dog on our side. Westman just blew me up with a missile. No, Flumpy got me.
No.
Yeah, you can see in the bottom left hand corner who killed you if you want to see who killed you or who killed what.
But I was killed a while ago. It couldn't have been me.
Message log. So yeah, Flumpy.
And I don't have missiles. But I'll take the credit.
Yeah. This map feels like when you go from like indoor soccer to outdoor soccer. It's like a small space to there's so much.
And we tried to give like a lot of variety between the maps, so they all have different feelings. They all have slightly different game modes. So this one, you have to kill everybody on the side, and there's 3 out of 5 rounds. So that's kind of mixes it up a little bit as opposed to
Snipers on the enemy team.
Yeah. It's team deathmatch with respawn or without respawn. So we get feedback on what players prefer there.
Yeah, well, in chat, if you're a player that's playing with us today, what do you think?
All right, I need to get a kill.
We got this, Wessman. We can do this.
I at least want an assist. Who's already targeted me? Calm down. Where you at? I'm gonna find you. It's not nice to stare. Oh my goodness! I'm going to the back end of that one.
It's not okay.
Oh shit!
Respawn gets a little expensive though if you're not doing really well.
So you have to pay each time?
Yes. Especially if you're using rentals. Rentals can get very, very, very expensive.
You are targeted.
You must be on the other side.
You win the game by staying in the black.
I might just go hide.
Yeah, there's definitely some gravity on Enceladus. I'm flying very low to the surface and getting pulled down. Or
Is that right?
my RCS.
Oh, darn it!
Unplanned.
Oh my god! I did it! No! I got one, but now I'm in danger. If I pivot like this, maybe they'll miss. Is there an engine that will come out that's like a booster?
The one on your back is a huge booster, but you have to point your ship in the right way, and then you can fire it up. That's as fast as science will let your ship go with the mass of your ship.
Stop targeting me.
You die, flame bullet.
Here, I will confuse them.
Oh, flame bullet, great, yeah. Oh, snipers are.
I'm nailing him with my railgun, but not doing critical damage.
We only got one guy left. Not looking good for the home team. Not looking good for North Star.
Look at those lasers. Look at that. Look at the size of that jet there. Ooh, he turned. Ooh! A little bit of fishtailing there. The equivalent of how space would... Oh no! Flame! Nice. You went up in flame.
They tore us up that time. They're doing much better than we are.
Sniper, calm down!
Snipers are with 4 and 0 day with 4. Yeah, good job, guys.
Lasers! Sharks,
come on, Commander
lasers!
Mark! Expecting more from you.
You're not. You have 6 lasers? Calm down!
Oh, there was a version of the Pegasus that had 12 or 16 hard points. Can you imagine a laser on every one of them?
Right?
I used to call it the light bringer.
Yeah, it's just like have its eye on you. You're dead. That
definitely swats strikes out of the sky.
No.
One of the cool things we want to implement is having those what they call cooperative engagement scenarios, where a Pegasus might serve basically as a missile truck, and the Shrikes would be the targeting ships and do the
like scouts, forward scouts.
Yeah,
like wild weasels in Vietnam.
Yep. Which brings up another thing, electronic warfare.
And they attract you. That's coming. We're going to have an electronic warfare package that we deliver that's going to have ECMs and a lot of cool things. We had nukes in the game, but we pulled them out for now, but they'll be back. Can't have a sci-fi game without nukes.
Well, and all the ships are nuclear powered, so.
Oh, Sniper Czar's got a Hyperion in there. He's a real bad boy. I'll give you one more scoop. We're also going to bring another map back called Blind Spot that we had at our alpha. That's a assault map, so that's going to be coming pretty soon during the playtest. So everybody gets another little map.
It'll be so fun. You'll have to let us know.
You are more than welcome to come play with us at any time because you are a damn good pilot. I can already see
I can
it.
fly, I just can't shoot. I need a co-pilot.
You'll get good. If you get the flying down, you'll get the shooting down. It's all a matter of knowing the right weapon for the right job, and it just takes time playing it to really figure out what's really good.
But one of the little known facts that is true is generally
That's it.
speaking,
We lost.
Women make better pilots. Is they have superior fine motor control and typically better visual acuity, and those are key skills.
That's why the
Sniper.
night were so fun.
Sniper's like, one day we'll be on the same team. We'll just keep trying. But yeah, that one's fun. And I like it because, like, I was kind of taking the outskirts route where I was just trying to find everyone unawares while the big battle was in the middle. Just looking for the one-offs to fight.
My performance was generally pathetic, but not so bad that I didn't make money.
Well, the first time I died in this game was by you last week, so...
Sorry. Wait.
I think Jack got outed. I think so. We're gonna have to drag him back in the chat.
Oh no.
There you go.
There we go.
Whoops, sorry. My gamer buddy called me, and instead of hitting decline, I hit accept. So I jumped into a Discord channel. So
Oh, that happens sometimes. You're just like, sorry, friend, bye.
I did. I sent him a message, say no in the black tonight, buddy. I'm streaming.
Well, let's see. Is there anything else you want to show off, or
I think we've shown you a lot.
Oh, the simulator. Take a quick tour of the simulator.
While we wait for Tygarlily to come back, can you talk a little about using Unreal for this? This is not what we normally think of for a game made with the Unreal Engine.
Well, I'm not sure I'm the best person to address that.
that is it. That's exactly right. Which is what we learned. That Unreal is really, really, really good at making Fortnite. That's what they're really good at right now, is that first-person shooters, particularly Fortnite, because that's where a lot of their money is. So getting a space sim in the Unreal Engine was certainly a huge challenge, and we met with massive obstacles. But we really liked the way it looked, and we wanted to do a game as realistic as possible. We went for it, and we found there's stuff like map limitation size. Like we found out that the maximum size you can make a map in Unreal is 80 kilometers. But when we started designing the game, we don't really need 80 kilometers to make it fun. Because then we'd have to have much faster ships if you're dealing with something like that. And there's true physics in the game too. But there's certainly sometimes issues pop up as the farther you get away from the center of the map, the more some things might the math might start to go a little wacky when you get to the edges. But we're happy with the choice. Certainly, at the end of the day, I wish we would have started with Unreal 4. We'd probably have been finished by now.
Target the larger pieces first, as they present the greatest threat. You only have 5 minutes to destroy as many.
So right now I'm doing the simulator. I'm doing the debris one. Last week I failed, so this week I'm gonna try again.
It's a really good sort of target shooting gallery type of mission. It's a good way to grind for cash, and in our universe, it's the sort of thing that there'd almost always be a debris sweep type of contract available. And
This is our version of asteroids too.
Yeah.
This one could be
So-
fun. Like for someone like me, that's like I can't just go into battle and practice. Like I need something else for target practice and everything like that.
And we'll
this is my
eventually
mode.
have a variety of these different scenarios, and we're hoping to add more intense damage to the station. Right now, the debris chunks blow up, but they don't really do any damage to the station, which seems odd.
Will there be a Kobayashi Maru simulator?
If
Yes.
we can- yeah.
I'm a Star Trek fan, so we'll find a way to do the unbeatable scenario. But I think that would just frustrate players if there's an unbeatable scenario. They're not like, they don't have a Kirk to rewrite the computer program to cheat and win it, right?
Target cleared. Target locked. Target cleared. Target locked.
You're doing really well now.
Cleared.
I know how to shoot
Locked.
and
Yeah,
fly.
after you've been in battle, this is easy, isn't it?
Tygarlily, why don't you talk a little bit more about what it's been like to pick up this game?
Target locked.
Flying spaceships is pretty difficult, honestly. It'll take a long time to get used to, but the one thing I really enjoyed about it was like me able to sit down, use a mouse and a keyboard, and just naturally, like, it just felt natural. Like, none of the commands seemed like there's no learning curve. Oh no, come here, you.
Target cleared. Target.
The only thing that, like, for me for flying is, I don't like to fly too close to things anymore, because if I do, I'll end up just blowing myself up.
Target
Commander
cleared.
Mark in chat says, take advantage of your mag owls, Tygarlily.
Target cleared.
That's your lasers.
Target locked.
My lasers!
Your
Well,
laser,
it's
your
very,
laser beams.
very nice to hear you describe
Yes.
that experience, because it's been very much on our minds that we want the game to be accessible. We want players to feel like mastery is within reach. That it just requires more practice, more play, and if that practice is fun all by itself, then it's rewarding to do that.
So for me, this would, like with mouse and keyboard, that's like a big, sometimes it's hard, with your space or any driving game, people are going to want to simulate a wheel or a joystick. I don't think you need that right off the bat, but would you say this game could be fun with one? Or
Oh, absolutely. It's for a lot of people, that's really the only way that makes sense, and but the reality is they're a minority of the audience. So our priority has been to make sure that the mouse and keyboard is satisfying and fun. But we do support HOTAS. We haven't devoted time lately to keeping it up to date.
HOTAS
It's-
means hands and throttle on stick. It means you have a joystick
You have
and
a fancy
throttle.
joystick and a
Yeah.
throttle with lots of programmable buttons, and part of the problem is there are so many devices out there. And if you've ever been involved in quality assurance for a PC product, you know that that is part of the nightmare.
30 seconds to
Preppy Rogue says he's got his HOTAS ready. Is it HOTAS? Is the Logitech one, right?
It's a ton of people make it. Thrustmaster makes
Thrustmaster
them.
makes one. In fact, we've done a couple of giveaways where we gave away their Warthog. It's like solid metal base. It's modeled on the controls from an A-10 aircraft.
Oh, it's really beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, we love the fancy controllers. I've always wanted to also do, it's called a Space Navigator, and it's similar to the controls that they show on the Expanse. It's sort of like a hockey puck size thing that is used in conjunction with a mouse. It's quite popular for 3D modelers, but it would also be a good spacecraft control device, surprisingly.
Ooh.
Locked.
And then, of course, some people have asked about
Locked.
camera input and voice input,
Target.
and
Target.
all of these things are on our roadmap. It's just
Cleared.
when can we get to them? We don't know yet.
Yeah, right now we're a pretty small team, so we can't take on a lot. We can focus on a few things and do it really well. When we try to like spread out and do a lot of things at once. It not only makes our programmers and artists unhappy, it means it doesn't get done as well. So we zero in on what we want and we make it work.
That's awesome. Sniper says, I have a sim share with mounts, but no throttle or stick. So it's always fun. Like I had, like this is why I got into space games, because I got in my curved monitors, and I have 3 monitors, and they circle me.
Nice.
And every time I see my computer desk when I wake up, this is why I love being a content creator. It's like waking up and jumping into your cockpit of the day, and so for me, it's like it just feels really good, you know. So, how big is their team at Grumpy Rogue asks?
How big is our team right now? We've got 2 programmers. We've got 1 artist and some external artists. We have 4 designers. We have 2 producers. We have 2 sound people. Community manager. We have some external people that help us. So I'd say altogether we're usually 10 to 15 people.
That's like a medium-sized team, you know?
Yeah.
That's for this kind of game. That's really small. Believe it
Yeah.
or not. This is
And most are not full time, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, only right now. A few of us are full time.
Do you outsource usually for certain things, or?
We have
We have
not
done
outsourced.
well in
We've
the sense
outsourced
we-
for only a few things, really, a couple of models, but not
yeah,
generally not.
some art assets.
Mm-hmm.
Generally not.
Well, both of you are very, veteran developers. But if there's anybody interested in starting development, like I know Grumpy Rogue really likes 3D modeling, or if you have any suggestions to anyone interested in starting, what would you give them? What would be the first step?
Well, we're not really I wouldn't say hiring because we're all working for equity right now, which means none of us are getting paid.
Yeah.
One day it makes money, if ever.
Was your question more about just getting started as a developer, period?
Yes.
She's
Yes.
saying getting started with us.
Okay.
Is it just
No,
generally starting
in
as
general?
a developer?
Yeah, in general. So
in general, find a game like us. Yeah, find a game like us that people will take you and you can learn from it. You might not necessarily get paid, or you might not get paid a lot. Really, to become a developer, you need to get games under your belt, so you need to ship games. So join, a good thing is go look at Kickstarter and see if there's any games that you like in there. And if you like it, get in touch with them and say, hey, I do 3D, you need to bring some skill to the table of some kind, because they're generally not gonna bring you on if you can't do anything. Or I can tell you, my guys I have no time to train people. Essentially, you've got to kind of hit the ground running. Try to get some games under your belt, or make games yourself. Just go download Unreal 4 or download Unity and come up with an idea, or go to the schools that Dave and I teach at, and we'll teach you how to make games, and you can do it that way.
Yes.
It's one of the we were talking about earlier. What a great time this is to be alive as a gamer and as an aspiring game developer. There are so many awesome tools that are free to download and use. There's tons of tutorials and communities that will help you. I think game jams are an excellent first start because it's understood that not everybody's a professional, and you're there to have fun and learn. And they're going on all the time.
That's awesome. Well, if anyone in chat, either of our chats, have been watching and interested in playing, this game is available on Steam right now. There's a play test, and it's available for another week, is what we were told. And so if you're interested, you want to give it a try, and then the devs are here. So if you have any questions for them, ask now, and we can ask them. Chirp actually just put one in. He said, "What are game jams?"
Well, the typical game jam, and the biggest one in the world, is the International Game Jam that occurs, I think, usually in February each year.
Oh, the Global Game Jam.
The Global Game Jam, that's what it's called.
You get a globalgamejam.org.
And you'll learn everything you need to know. Basically, it's a 2-day event. Starts Friday, like 5 or 6 in the afternoon, and goes till Sunday at the same time. And a lot of people don't sleep.
I think that's the idea, to kind of simulate crunch in the industry.
Because Could be. But yeah, it's just super intense fun. The theme is usually announced right at that starting moment, so you don't even know what you're making. You're just getting together with people. A lot of people have friends or colleagues that they know ahead of time that they want to work together. Others just show up at the event wherever it's hosted and volunteer. Hey, I'd like to help with writing this story, or hey, I can do texture art. And then you know the theme and just see if you can make something, get it playable. I've done a few game jams and ended not so well. Something that, okay, this is a really cool idea, but we didn't get it to the finish line. And other times it's like, hey, there's something here that we could grow.
Right.
I've seen a number of student game jam projects turn into something that ended up being a professional commercial product.
I see that a lot too, you know, content creation, and even if it doesn't go on a full-blown game, it can still become an animated, some sort of content for anything. So just like your ideas they're out there, and you know, what I'm trying to do is provide doors or opportunities or at least outlets for some folks that are like, oh, I have these cool ideas, but who do I talk to? You know, so they never really know who to engage with when they're trying to get their ideas out there. So thank you for answering those questions.
I think one of the
member in our Twitch, Being Borg, who's done a lot of jams, but is now a developer at Ubisoft.
Sweet. Yeah, one of the other
Anybody
great
can
things
make
is that it really opens your eyes to some of the sausage factory aspects. That making games is hard. It really is very, very hard to get people to share a vision, work effectively together, which is, I mean, that's the focus of what Jack and I do during our day jobs, is teach students how to do that. It's not so much specific development skills, it's learning how to work together.
Definitely. Yeah, you can't have an artist that just can't communicate well. You know, you're going to run into so many issues or complications where it's going to prevent or create delays during like the creation. You know, when I was in college, I took an elective just for fun, and it was a game makers class. It was just super simple, just something to fill in my electives. But you know, one of the things is they taught us the different parts of development, and one of them that I remember the most was Nintendo when they first started up and their first few games, and everyone would just sleep in the small office together. You know, hygiene probably wasn't important to them, but and then they would just eat ramen. They would just throw ramen in a big pot, eat it together just to hit their first deadline. So it's like the things that devs go through to get their games out there is just phenomenal.
Well, Activision used to buy us lasagna every night, and I gained 20 pounds during Mech 2. So it's like, you know, I learned free food is not always the answer.
Right. That's the same with the office. There's something weird about offices and businesses. They're like, you want pizza? And like, no.
Oh no,
Give me a salad.
I love pizza, but I hide from it when it's, you know, when you start doing it every day, you're gonna go down a really scary journey.
Yes. So Grumpy Rogue asks, do they utilize C++ exclusively for their game, or is any of it built utilizing Unreal Engine blueprints?
We prototype using blueprints because that's easier for our level designers to use, and they can kind of try things out and let's capture this point and this thing turns on and stuff like that. But truthfully, since we're a network game, to get things to run really fast, it eventually has to be broken down into code, C++, and that kind of aspect, so it can replicate better.
That's awesome. Well, Andrew, do you have any questions in the chat? I actually don't have the second one up right now.
The main question is, when will the next playtest be after this one closes?
Yeah.
We haven't quite announced what our next plans are. We're taking the information we got from this playtest, which, you know, there's some things that we want to really look into, like dedicated server, because some people are having trouble with, you know, we have players in Australia, and they're not getting a good experience because they're, you know, right now we're built peer-to-peer, because that's how we built the prototype and everything like that. So dedicated server is something we really want to get in there. Now, I'm not promising anybody who hears this now and in the future forever. We'd like to get dedicated server. We want to get some more ships in there. We have one on the drawing table, called the Super Shrike that is going to be the new, an up-to-date Shrike that we're going to be very proud of. The Calibri is going to go in. Like I said, we're probably going to release that one. If everything works out, no promises, in a couple of days, it'll be on the playtest. We have the ability to go in and out of playtests on Steam, and we may do some more playtest if we think we need information about, because we want everybody to have fun with the game. Certainly, we want to build we want to build an audience, because this game is not going to work without a lot of people playing it, because it's primarily a multiplayer game. But if we're constantly fixing stuff for the playtest, like we've had to stop production on everything and just like respond to the things that are coming up in the playtest, we don't really make forward progress. So probably by the end of the playtest, which will probably happen next week, we'll announce what our next plans are and when people can start looking for the next version of the game. Next version of the game will be substantially bigger and responding to what we're hearing on this playtest. So there's going to be a lot of let's just say we definitely want to make the beginning more accessible. We're hearing a lot of the people that want to stick with it get really good at it, but a lot of people are frustrated when they play it earlier, because it's like the first time you played an FPS, right? If you never played it, if you played Doom and you played with a keyboard and you were playing with arrow keys, and then your buddy showed you mouse and keyboard and said, "Hey, try this FPS out on mouse and keyboard," and like for 2 days you were running in the walls and you were doing all this stuff, but then day 3 something clicks. Our game is like that as well.
Yeah.
Once it clicks, you can get really good, and if you watch some of these players playing, it's almost like ballet as they're flying through the tunnels. Especially, you can see it really going in the tunnels, and I'm just constantly amazed. When I'm watching these people going, wow, they fly way better than I have, and I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Marquez says, nerf the missiles. The missiles right now, the missiles you're seeing in the game are like upper tier missiles. So those are fast, and they hit hard and they turn. We're going to have a lot of cheaper missiles in the game that aren't going to hit as hard, and they're not going to go as fast and not going to turn as good. So we just, for time frame, we only put one type of missile in the game, but we'll have a full range of missiles that'll, the more they do, the more they're going to cost.
Right.
And more missile countermeasures.
Oh, is that David Johnson in? Hey, David.
That'd be great. He's
stuck. He's either stuck on or suck on pulling item database. I will call you directly and help you fix it. David's an industry vet, and he's really good at things.
Good at what he do.
David, I'll let him tell you if he wants to. He's one of my heroes. He's one of my heroes. I'll just say that.
Oh,
for sure.
I was gonna say you seem to know everything. Definitely someone for us to look up to with game development, and then a space game at this size. It's impressive. Everything you both have put together, and what we were able to see today. I have one last question about devs, and then I'm gonna cut it there. So if any pop up after this, I'm so sorry. But what are some resources to start learning how to develop a small game?
Well, like every person on Earth now, YouTube is everything, and YouTube can teach you everything from how to be a practicing Buddha to how to make a wood bench with out of popsicle sticks. So certainly, like everything else, first of all you need to determine what your skill set. Dave just said FX. Yeah, Dave is involved in FX. He's when he says FX, the FX he makes are the best in the business. The stuff he's done is some of your favorite games, but you should do a different show with him. I'm sure. I don't want to talk about him. I'm trying to get him to play our game. So, but
it's a great game.
The first thing you do is get a game engine. So the two big ones are Unreal 4 or Unreal 5. They're actually that's out there now too. If you want to really get a jump on it, go download it and figure out what you want to do. Are you a person who you want to make the visuals of the game? You want to make the models of the game, then you need to become a modeler, and you need to become a person who can use a program like Maya or Blender. Blender is, I think it's free, and you can learn everything you can. So you can just go to Blender and say, how do I make a spaceship in Blender, or how do I make a person in Blender, and model it. And if you can model it and you can texture map it and it looks good, somebody in the team, somebody will take you. right? So somebody will give you something to do. If you're a person that likes math and you like algorithms and you like programming, programmers are the first to get hired on a team and the last to get fired. But it's also you work the hardest on the team and you do them. You're the closest to the stuff going on. Level designers or designers, they typically have to be good with the engine. So Unreal 4, Unity. I liked CryEngine. I worked at Crytek, so I helped develop that. It's an easy to use engine. Unreal 4 is pretty easy to use. It looks really good. You can put stuff that look really good really fast out on Unreal 4. So I would say definitely, if nothing else, get Unreal 4 and try to make a game with Unreal 4. So what is your dream game? A strategy game, a shooter, a vehicle game like we do, a trading game, a card game. You can do whatever you want to, and start doing it. You've got to make it. You've got to put it out. You've got to launch the game, and eventually, if you're passionate about it, you can get a job in the industry, or you can just make your own games and sell them. So the last people. A game I really love now, and I know David really loves, is Valheim, and it took those guys it took a team of about 5. About as long as we were making in our game to make Valheim, and they turn around and they sell 30 or 40 million copies of the game, right? So those guys, they never have to work again, and they've never made a game before, right?
Yeah.
So anybody can do it, and anybody can, but it's going to be, like Dave said, it is a lot of work. You've got to live in front of your computer. So maybe if the next, the Lambda Wave comes out and you're stuck in your house, get that good computer and, get those YouTube videos and say, okay, I'm going to make a game. How do I make a game in Unreal on YouTube and go for it?
I
would
the plot.
Call out one particular YouTube channel called the Game Maker's Toolkit. It's tons of great content.
I was gonna say that's what we used in my class. So, there's obviously the Unreal engines, just the best place to start. But for me, because I wanted a cute game, and I wanted to make it like Flappy Bird, and so our teacher had us use Game Maker, and you can actually download other people's examples, other people's games to see how they did it, and then it's a really good resource for students because it's just there's so many options, and there's forums, and you can click on it, and they even have books out because it's for school, it's educational. And that'll actually walk you step by step on how to build just a simple game like Flappy Bird.
I'm glad you mentioned that, but I wanted to clarify because there's Game Maker as an engine to make games.
Oh yeah.
And the YouTube channel that I was thinking of isn't actually related to that. It's the Game Maker's Toolkit as a channel that analyzes games, that talks about different aspects of game design, and so more from the perspective of learning what makes a good game, or why would you choose to implement a system or a reward system, for example, in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So not from the technical side per se, but more from the understanding what makes a game a game.
Yeah, so much available resources to really help you. And I'm sure there's tons of lessons out there, so you don't make the same mistakes
that we make. But yeah, it's the best time in the world to make a game. You could not. Oh, David Johnson made it in. We have to play a game with him. He made it in.
And everybody watching should remember that the Georgia Game Devs YouTube channel has more than 400 free videos on all aspects of game development, including the business side, about 30 some on game audio, art, programming, and of course, in the black.
You are such a good pitch man, Andrew. Thank you.
No, that's impressive, Andrew, because it's an amazing breadth of content, because that's something a lot of people kind of overlook. You mentioned the business aspect, and if this is something you want to do for a living, then that's absolutely critical. Even if you're not the business guy, you should understand some of the business aspects.
Oh, I forgot. You can also, if you don't want to do art and stuff, you can go to sites like TurboSquid or the Unreal 4 Marketplace and just download assets for free and pull them in the game engine and play with them and do things with them. So
yeah,
you just got to have fun with it.
Audio,
really,
sound effects, music. There's a surprising amount of free stuff out there.
Well, two things I've been reminded of before we end the stream. First of all, There is a GeorgiaItch.io bundle being formed. If you are a Georgia developer with a game on itch, please contact us, info@ggda.org, by the end of the month. Looks like a really good bundle coming together. I'm amazed at how many good games are on itch these days. And second, we'd like to thank our Patreons, Ron Jones the artist, Joe Cassava, Jennifer, James Simpson, and we have several others whose names are not popping up right now. But thank all of you for your support. And check out Tygarlily's channel. Check out In the Black. Any last words from our streamers?
I'll let you go
Tygarlily,
first, Jack.
You're the
I want-
best.
Oh,
You're the best.
no, you guys are awesome. But, you
You're
know,
my favorite streamer now.
yes, yes. But I want you to talk more about yourself. How can, if anyone's interested in this game, because, you know, maybe someone saw and they're like, yes, I want to be a part of it. How can they get more
InTheBlack.gg.
involved? Okay. There you go. Easy answer.
Yeah, and that's our website, intheblack.gg. Also, just Steam. We're on the. You can go if you're fast, you can go to the Steam store page and you can look up In the Black and you can click on our game. You go down, you'll see the play test, and it'll say play now, and you can jump right in. You can play the game, and we've got everything you've seen tonight is in this version, plus a couple other maps that we didn't show, 2 other maps we didn't show. There's ships we didn't show. There's weapons we didn't show. There's single player content we didn't show.
Oh, yeah.
And so you can just go download the game and come join us and play it. And that's the best way, because we need lots of players to make it work, because it's better with people. So tell your friends and let's get out there and help us make this a game that a lot of people want to play.
That's awesome.
And if you're seeking a game education and would like to study in Europe, the Breda University of Applied Sciences is an excellent choice.
No bias. That's a definitely.
In Georgia, it's SCAD, so come on and learn to make games at SCAD if you're here.
We actually have a college fair October 14th at the Kennesaw University Conference Center, where SCAD, Georgia State University, University of West Georgia, and several others will be presenting.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's so cool, everybody. Was there anything else, Andrew?
I think you've just done a great job, and you've really shown the game off, and I don't think it could have been done any better. Thank you so much for helping us and supporting us in this effort. And if you ever need us to come show the game again, or you want us to just jump into other games that you're playing, let us know, and be glad to come help you out however we can, or talk game dev stuff, or really whatever you want. Let us know, because I had a really fun time tonight, personally.
I did too.
Hey, Princess says, tell your neighbors.
Tell your neighbors. Hey, Panay, you're my neighbor. Well, thank you, everybody. Andrew, would you like to wrap it up, or?
Sure, we'll close it on out. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Remember to keep tuned into subscribe to our YouTube channel if you aren't already. Make sure you have clicked on Tygarlily's Twitch channel and get notifications so you know when she is live, which, as often as it is not often enough. Make sure you checked out In the Black on both Steam and intheblack.gg. Our next GGDA meeting will be September 14th, but we hope to have some more live streams before then. And we will be at Dragon Con, speaking on virtual reality, game development, and much, much more. So thanks to everyone. Thanks to Tygarlily, Jack, David, Tavia, everybody, Nathan. Wonderful stream, and to everybody they killed in space.
Thanks for killing me.
Take care, everyone.